to MandoBug Crafts, episode 57. What's up? I'm MandoBug. You can call me Amanda if you want. Hey, how are you guys? I'd like to welcome new viewers. Thanks for taking the time to check me out. And thank you returning viewers for coming back, as always. And I'd like to give another thank you to all of you who watched my previous episode where I talked about Spun Fiber Company's Kickstarter that went and checked out the Kickstarter. I don't even care if you donated towards the cause, but just going and checking it out, thank you so much. Brittany has actually met her goal with, I don't remember how many days are left, but I'm pretty sure the Kickstarter ends on April 17th. If that's wrong, I'll put that at the bottom of the screen, but I'm pretty sure that's right. But since she met her goal, it means that her project will be funded, which means if you have yet to get in on this deal, go grab yourself a sweet prize, because there are still some pretty good rewards available for that. And of course, any money over her goal that she makes, she can put towards growing the business, so it never hurts. So yeah, thank you guys again. I won't go into my spiel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out last week's episode. If you don't want to watch the whole episode, you can just skip to the check it out portion where I go on and on and on about how much I love this company. So, starting the show out with something I've learned. So, I got to do a lot of playing with my drum carder during this last week. I mean, it's been 2 weeks since I've recorded, but I was only playing with my drum carder this last week. And I've made some bats. So I have the Fancy Kitty, I think it's called Standard Kitten. It's their kitten drum carder, and it's not, I didn't get the motorized option. I got the plain hand crank carder with the 9120 TPI, I believe. Maybe I got higher than that. Maybe I got 120, one something. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. It's for fine wool. So my very first two bats that I made on it, okay, I blended some Jacob on it, so that was my very first bat off the carder. But the next two bats that I made on it, I actually have already put in the mail, and they're gone. So those were a learning experience because I just started, it was a Merino Firestar blend, and I just started throwing fiber on the carder, and I realized at the end of it that it was about 50-50 Merino Firestar, which is way too much Firestar. So Firestar is a very sparkly nylon that works very well if you want sparkly fibers, and then that stretch that you get from nylon, that durability, but you don't really need 50-50. So after I made those bats, I decided to weigh the fiber before I put it on the carder. And also I learned that I like to make smaller bats with the carder. You can put as much as you can pack down into the teeth on there, but you do have to get it off. And the more you pack on, the harder it is to get off. And so I learned that for me, in my carder and our relationship, I like to make 1 ounce or ½ ounce mini bats on it. It can make 3 ounce bats. I just don't like to. So, here's an example of some 1 ounce bats that I made. So these are about 80-20 Merino Firestar. So, I don't know how well the camera will pick up the detail, but you can see they sparkle and they're nice and soft. And this was an experiment that didn't turn out like I expected it to. I took white merino and I added in a rainbow color of Firestars. So there's turquoise Firestar, yellow Firestar, pink Firestar, yellow, did I already say that? And orange. And you can see that the bats are still pretty much white. So you can see some stripes of color, but it didn't stand out as much as I expected it to. So you live and you learn. So some of the things I learned with making these bats was that I prefer to weigh out the fiber before I put it into bat form so that I know the ratio of the fiber that I'm blending. I also like to spread the fiber out as thin as possible when I feed it into the carder so that it blends nicely. Like a standard piece of roving will maybe be, comb top will be like maybe this thick. I split it in half and then I spread it out really wide like you kind of do with that Halloween spiderweb stuff, and then I feed that in slowly. And then also what I really like to do is to send fiber through the carder at least twice, if not 3 times, to get it nice and blended. So I'll open this one up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. I wish I had a less blended example so you could see what happens when it's not as blended, but this fiber has blended together really nicely, and you can see it's not super thick. It's a really good thickness for drafting, and I'm just really happy. And this was sent through 3 times, I believe. So, yeah, I think that's mostly what I learned. Oh, I also learned to be careful with your hands. I'll see if you can see what happened to mine. Right around my cuticles, my fingers are a little tore up, and that is from 2 different mistakes that I made. So, oh, this is another thing I learned. So the Firestar is really thin and not super long in staple length. So it gets caught on the liquor end sometimes, you know, the small carder that helps feed onto the bigger drum. So it's best to apply the Firestar directly to the big drum. And if you get your fingers too close to the teeth when you do that, it will scrape across your knuckles as you apply it. So that was one mistake I made. And then the other mistake was when I was taking the bats off. I have a little pick that you can draft the fibers apart along the groove. There's a groove in the drum where you can pick the fiber out and you kind of draft it apart across that line. Well, if you dig your fingers down in there, you'll scrape them along the teeth, and that's what happened then as well. So, and then the biggest thing with it is patience. Be patient, because like I was so excited, I just wanted to go, 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 go. Well, that's how you hurt your fingers, and that's how you make mistakes, and that's how you end up feeding too much fiber into the carder at once, and that does not result in a nice bat. No, it does not. So luckily with the carder you can just take it off and redo it, and that's what I did when I had really thick compacted or chunky areas. I would just take it all off and start over again. So yeah. I also, so those were 1 ounce mini bats, and then I also made a bunch of half ounce mini bats. So these half ounce mini bats are again about 80-20 Merino Firestar. So you can see the colors. And when I dyed the Merino and the Firestar, I dyed them in the same pot, so they're about the same color. So that's why you don't see a change, because I dyed them together. So I have a pink and a turquoise, and I actually have a whole bag of these. And I signed up for a swap through the Entirely Crafty podcast. Lindsay is hosting a springtime swap, and I can share this with you guys because my partner is secret, so they don't know who they are. But they will be getting this bag of mini bats from me. It's probably about 3 ounces altogether. I think I'm going to make a little label for it, calling them flower tops, for some fun spring-like themed things, you know. Trying to stick to the theme. I also made her a project bag. Let's see if I can pop it open. It's a box bag with some nice spring fabric. I had it squished down because I want to be able to ship it in as small a box as possible, but it's not opening. Open! Sesame. There we go. It's kind of open now. But yeah, I picked out this really cute spring fabric and made her a box bag with fun inside fabric, and then some stitch markers too, because they're just too easy to throw onto things. So just some plain bead ones with a little lobster claw butterfly. Oh, how cute. So I hope she likes them. And it's funny, when I sewed this bag, I finished it, and I'm looking at it, and like, something is not right. The zipper was at the bottom. But it's a quick fix. Originally I was like, oh no, I have to take the zipper out and put it back in. No, silly. I just needed to move the handle to the other side. So that's what I did. So, yeah, I made a box bag over the break. That's all I had for something I've learned. So moving on to works in progress. So I have made barely a dent in my Lou Cookie mystery socks, my second one. Just a couple more rows up the toe. I haven't really been focusing on this project very much, but I did make progress, which I'm happy about. So, because these are for my mother-in-law, I do want to get them done, especially since I'm going to use the scraps from making the bats to make her some art bats to send her way. But those socks are knit on US size zeros out of Dizzy Blonde's Studios Superwash sock in the Tequila Sunrise colorway. And so I've also made some progress on this very, very long-term project. This is taking forever. And I'd like to speed up my progress on it, but I also like to work on more than one project at a time. So I'm happy with my progress, although I wish it was more, if that makes sense. So this is my beekeeper's tank, and it's just stocking it in the round for a very long time. So I have my kitty marker from where I was last time I recorded, so I've got a good couple of inches, maybe 3 to 4 since I last recorded. So I'm making good progress. It's just taking a long time to make this tank top. I am knitting it out of Shibui Knits linen in the Cascade colorway, and this is my second skein here. They're 50-gram skeins, so I should be finishing this up soon and joining the third ball. I haven't really talked about the linen too much. I don't know how to compare it to other linen because it is a different kind of fiber than wool. I maybe would say it's soft for linen, but it's not soft. If that makes sense. It feels better knit up than it does in the skein, but it's still... I mean, I could wear it next to skin, but it's not, I don't know. I'm not really sure what I was expecting, but I was expecting it to be softer. And then the other thing about this fiber, this linen, is I don't know if you're going to be able to see in the camera, but it's chained. Can you see that? I'm trying to get it backed by my finger. But it's one of the fibers that is chained together. So, not like, well, I guess it is like a chain ply, but it would be like if you chain plied very short chains, but didn't add any twist. So, because of this nature of the linen, it's really splitty. And there are parts of my tank top where I've actually snagged the chains. And hopefully those chains don't, that snag doesn't break. Here's one. I don't know if you can see it. But hopefully those snags don't break, because then it would unchain itself and therefore unravel. So I'm a little worried about that with this tank top, so we'll see. And then for my other work in progress, I just started it, and you probably won't be surprised after watching my last episode. I started a Stephen West shawl. I started the Exploration Station. And I don't normally pick very good color combos, but I think I did this time. Aww, Emmy's crying. She was napping, so she's probably mad she woke up from her nap. But anyways, yeah, I don't normally pick out very good color combinations, but I really love this combination of yarn. Let's see if I can get up close so you can see the colors better. So the dark color, okay, these are all Tosh Merino Light yarn, and the top color is Raspberry Cordial. It's a very dark purple. And then the next color is that blue that's got like some green color to it. You can see it again down here. That's Stargazing. And then the pinky purple color is Dahlia. And then that gray is Turn from my cardigan that was left over. So I actually found use for the rest of that skein. So I've been working back and forth in these short rows, and after this pink wedge I have one more gray wedge, and then I get to go to the brioche section, which I'm excited to try. So this, because this is all Eat Sleep Knit yarn, I'm going to use it for the New to You knit along for the brioche. So I'm really excited to try that out, and I really like the way that the colors are knitting up together. I can show you all the skeins together. Stackity stack. There you go. Oh, I think I did such a good job picking these colors out. I absolutely love these colors together. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I think that's what keeps me knitting on this shawl so much, is like this has been my favorite project that I'm working on right now, and I'm sure it's a combination of the colors together, and then also like how interesting this shawl is to knit with the short rows. It's an entertaining knit. So moving on to finished objects. Sorry about my needles clinking around. I try to minimize that, but meh. So I finished my hand spun socks, and they're wet. They're wet. I have them drying right now. These are my Calijoki socks out of hand spun from fiber that I got from Penguin Soup. It was her King BFL, which is a superwash British BFL, in the Frozen Heart colorway, which was this gradient from turquoise, dark blue to purple. I split it in half lengthwise, and I spun them at a 3-ply sport weight and chain plied them up, and then knit these socks. So because they're wet, you can't really see. They have this really cool spiraling pattern throughout them, and it does kind of give the sock a wavy look, but when you put it on your foot it stretches out. There are a couple rounds that are 1 stitch shorter than most of the rounds, so that's what gives you that wavy shape to the sock, not the design. But I like the way that it stretches to fit because of that. I put the OMG heels in these, and they fit amazing. They make me not want to try other heels because I really like how they work, but I'm a fan of trying new things, so I know I eventually will try new ones out. But I barely had any yarn left over after these, and I have little feet. I wear about a 6.5 size 7. Are my scraps in here? Oh, they're right here. This is the yarn that I had left over. So I had to cut turquoise and blue out of one sock to make the colors kind of match up, and then I had leftover purple after binding off one of the socks. So, well, both of the socks actually, but a lot more from one than the other. So I'm really excited to have my first pair of hand spun socks, especially since they fit so well. And they're also my first pair of sport weight socks. I made sport weight slippers in the past, but these are my first sport weight socks, and I'm excited to wear them next winter. And man, next winter I'll be in Washington, so I'll actually really need them. So my other finished object is this one that I've been wearing. This, I'm so happy with the way this turned out. I love, love, love the color. This is Malabrigo sock in Tiziano red, and it's like this really nice deep maroon color, and it's gorgeous. And so is the shawl. So I'll show you how I'm wearing it. I just have it folded up over the top, and of course, you know, I'm podcasting today. I'm not going anywhere, so I just have it over my regular t-shirt. But if I was going to wear this out, I'd wear a nice solid colored, more form-fitting t-shirt to go with it and really accent it, because the lace trim on the end of this shawl is really, really gorgeous. And it kind of gets hidden in the pattern of my regular t-shirt. But I'll take it off and show you. Did I say this was the Follow the Brick Road by Holly Dapp? I think I did. I'm sorry. I'm out of it, man. But look at that. I love, love, love this lace border. And this was knit on US size 6s out of one skein. I won Yarn Chicken to finish this. I did. I was so scared because it has a picot bind off, which takes a lot of yarn, and you never know how much yarn a picot bind off is gonna need. And originally when I started it, I was like, I have enough. And then about a quarter of the way into it, I'm like, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. So then I spent like the rest of the bind off just like angry, like I'm wasting my time trying this, I'm just not gonna have enough yarn at the end. Oh man. And then the closer I got to the end, I was like, oh wait, I will have enough yarn, I think. And I got more optimistic and I did have enough yarn. I think it was in this bag. Yes, here it is. Here were my leftovers, which is quite a bit, you know, if your rows were shorter, like if you were knitting a sock, but doing the picot bind off, like, this was all I had left. I was so worried. So worried. But I was fine. So yeah, I really like this shawl. It's a paid-for pattern, and it is a little tricky to get the repeats at first. Like, once you start it, it tells you to repeat an established pattern until you have so many stitches on your needle, and I had a hard time figuring that out, and I don't think I'm the only one, but once it clicks, it's good. And then you get this lovely shawl, which for me, like, this is like the perfect fall shawl. I'm very excited about this one. I seem to wear dark red a lot in the fall, of course with my orange, but I have another cowl out of a similar color that I really enjoy wearing. Oh, and then I also, I mean, I'm calling this a finished object. It's this close. This close. So you won't be seeing it again. I made Emily this pattern, the 1701 Simplicity dress, for the Renaissance Festival next weekend. Here it is. Now, it's this close to done because I have to hand sew this golden piece down over the top of the ribbon. And that's because, okay, and I still need to cut some loose strings. But I put this ribbon on where the top of the dress meets the gathered portion, and I didn't hand sew the ribbon down, and so it's got this nasty seam. So I'm gonna take this nice trim and hand sew it down over the top of that seam to hide it. Plus this little gold strip makes it look a little more Renaissance-y. But it's got the little sleeves, and it's 2 layers at the bottom here. So I'm afraid it might be too warm, so we'll see how it goes. I'll put a little onesie under her and put this on, see how long she lasts in it before we have to take it off, because it's Georgia and it's starting to get really hot here. We've had days over 90 degrees lately, so I don't know how long she'll last in this. But I think it went pretty well, except for, like I said, I should have hand sewed down the top of the ribbon. And then in the back, it doesn't line up 100%. Had a hard time hiding the zipper down here. And then, of course, I had a hard time at the top, folding down the fabric where the zipper is. So, I mean, with practice, right? I'm glad I'm practicing these kinds of things on smaller pieces of clothes before I attempt to make something for myself, just because it's a lot more fabric, so it's a lot more expensive when you mess up, or if you don't like the way that it turns out. And as my friend Lindsay of the Knitwim Diaries podcast pointed out, kids are more, like, you expect to see kids in poorly made clothes, not so much with adults. So, not that I want Emily in poorly made clothes, just I have to start somewhere, right? I have to learn. It doesn't look too bad, especially once I get that sewn down. So, I think she'll be super cute in this dress. Moving on to Check It Out. So for Check It Out this week, I wanted to share with you guys something I got in the mail, and I have to grab it all. It's all over here. It was in a box, but I used that box for other shipping, so I don't have the box anymore. But I'm not sure if you are familiar with the company Nunoko. They are based in the UK and they make awesome fibery things for sale. So I say fibery because they make awesome bats, but they also have dyed merino and blended merino for sale. And I've never used any of their fiber before, but I've seen it on podcasts, and they have a thread on Ravelry where people share their finished objects and things from their fiber. So I wanted to try it out, but the cool thing is I didn't have to just like go out and buy, you know, certain bats or anything like that. They have this box called the Secret Smorgling where it is a small sampling of all of their products. So overall, I believe it's about like, man, I'll look it up and put it at the bottom of the screen. I don't really know how much it all is, but I got, and it's a mystery, so you don't know what you're gonna get. It's just random. As far as colors, you know that you're gonna get so many merino tops, so many blended merino, and so many bats, but you don't know what colors. So I got these two bats, which are really, really pretty. I really like the purple stripe and the green stripe that went through this bat. But so I have these two bats, and then it also came with two dyed merino packs, which were almost in like a gradient style. I opened them, so they're not in their cool package anymore, but like there was this purple one, and then I had one that was like mostly blues, and I think the greens were with the blue. I'm not sure, but I have all these little dyed merino samplings, and it's just a little bit. So it's really nice to see all the different colors. And then I have 6 blended merinos. So these I haven't taken out of the package, but as you can see, they're multiple colors blended into a little bit of top. So I'm very excited to spin all these together, especially since they kind of came in 2 colors coordinating with the bats. There's kind of like more purpley colors and more blue colors. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to spin it all yet, but I know that I want to spin it all together. And I'm thinking I'm going to come up with something fun like have 2 different gradient plies that are then plied together, or maybe 3 gradient plies that are plied together, or maybe spin the bat as a ply and then 2 gradient plies and then ply that together. I don't know, but there are so many options with all these small colored pieces that you could really do something fun. So I'm excited. If you guys are interested in something like that, check out their store. They don't have them in the shop all the time, especially when they're working on their collection boxes. Like they just released their Smorgas box, which is a big box full of full-sized bats and tops and blended rovings. So, and those go quick. So you kind of got to know when they're coming out so that you can grab one. I think they made 100 for this last box, and they've all been released, and I'm pretty sure they're all gone. So, but yeah, if you're interested in something like that, go check out their store. I felt like the shipping was pretty reasonable for international, so I'm sure I'll be purchasing from them again in the future. Moving on to current events, I'm still hosting the Double Dip Cow until May 31st, so any of your cows that you're entering, go ahead and enter your project in mine as well, as long as it was finished sometime between, what was it, March? Yeah, March 1st and May 31st. So, so far I have 2 skeins of yarn up for grabs in that, depending on the level of participation. I may add a project bag, or maybe I'll make some mini bats to give away. We'll see. But so far I think that's coming along pretty well, and I've been double dipping. I know my hand spun socks can go in some hand spun knit alongs and some sock knit alongs. I'm still doing the Eat Sleep Knit alongs. So I'm just knitting along all over the place right now. So moving on to Let's Chat. So I'm going to go grab Emily for Let's Chat and see how that goes. Say hi, Emmys! Emily did not like this carrier when it was facing me, but now that she's big enough to face out, as you can tell, she's pretty happy. So Emily is probably about 14 weeks old now, and I wanted to see how she fit in her hats. So we're going to do hat dress up. So this hat is a barley hat knit out of Verdant Griffin yarn from Holly of the Swift Knits podcast, and I'm pretty sure it's going to fit her now. So let's try it on. Ready, babies? Let's see how you look in your beanie. Are you fashionable? This is so cute. Yeah, that looks like that fits now. Look at that. It's a little long, but it looks like she's got room to grow in it. Do you like your hat, Goose? Emmybeans? Yeah. So I think the barley hat looks like a pretty good fit for... She's 3 months old now, and I'm pretty sure this was knit in the 0 to 3 month size, so I'd say good fit. You want to try another hat? Let's try another hat. This hat was actually a gift, so I don't know the pattern, but look at how cute that is. Let's see if this one fits, girl. Oh, yes. Oh. So this hat is crocheted. Let's get that over your ear. This hat's crocheted, and it's got little pom-poms on the top with little bows at the base of the pom-poms. I'm going to see if I can't find some pattern that's similar to this, if you guys are interested in a hat that looks like this, because that is too cute. Do you like this one? No? She's interested in everything in my craft room. My room's so dirty. It's absolutely a mess. Alright, let's try on another hat there. Yeah, you don't like that one anymore? Alright, and then the last hat that I have is one of the berry hats, but it was knit to look like a pumpkin. So this hat was knit by Lindsay of the Knitwim Diaries podcast, and it fits perfect right now. She knit it and tried it on her when she was probably 4 or 5 weeks old, and it was way too big, but now it looks like a really good fit. I know she knit this out of Dream in Color, Smushy, or Smushy with Cashmere, I'm not sure, in the Humdrum colorway, which is my favorite. And then I'm not sure what the green is at the top. I know it's another Dream in Color, but I don't know the colorway. But oh my goodness. Do you like the pumpkin hat? I like the pumpkin hat. I don't think she's impressed. Yeah, you don't like it. Okay. We'll take it off. But for the most part, I really miss her when I go to work. Here, let me scoot the chair up. I really miss her when I go to work, and it's really hard, but especially like my last day of the week. I work 4 and 3. Here, let me move this camera down. Okay, but anyways, I was saying, it's really hard by the end of the week with her because I just miss her so much. I work 4 10-hour days, so they're long, and by the 4th day, I'm like, I don't see my baby enough. I miss my baby. But it's my weekend, so I've been enjoying my time with her, and that makes it all worth it. We went and saw the Easter Bunny, and we got pictures, and it was funny because she doesn't sleep all the time, and the day we took her to see the Easter Bunny, she slept all day, and we thought she was going to sleep through the pictures. It was pretty ridiculous. She woke up for the pictures, and we took pictures with all 3 of us, me and my husband and her. Yeah, do you remember that? Probably not. No. But we got our pictures done all together, and she looked pretty good in those, and she smiled in one of them. But then, what's wrong, girl? Want to stand up? But by the time it was time to do her picture by herself, she was not happy, and she looked like she was going to cry in all the pictures. What? Did you want to talk to everybody? Say hi. Say hi, I'm Emily. Oh, I think you're ready to go back down to your nap. I'm gonna see if she wants to go lay back down and I'll be back. Okay, so for the question for you guys is, I want to know how you guys store your knitting needles and or crochet hooks or knitting notions, because I have something embarrassing to share with you guys. I started knitting about 2 years ago, and I collected my needles slowly over time, as well as my stitch markers. For my crochet hooks, I crocheted a crochet hook case, and I keep them in that. But for my knitting needles, I didn't have anything like that, and I just kind of put them in this box. So not only is this not the best way to do it, this is a Christmas box that one of my Christmas presents came in 2 years ago, and it is full of all my needles. Look at that. I have, oh, they're falling out. I have Knit Picks interchangeable sets in here. I have Knitter's Pride fixed circular sock needles. I have a handful of DPNs, and they're just hanging out in here, and it's not the best way to store them because it's really hard to sift through them and find what I need, and it's really a jumbled mess, and there's everything in here, right? So like I have a bag of stitch markers, and I have a box of T-pins and an empty bag. So I need help. Are there any cases that you guys recommend? Are there any tutorials on cases to make yourself that are pretty good? Or are there some other organizational boxes or ways that you store your stuff? Just let me know, because that needs to be fixed. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good next 2 weeks, and I will see you then. Bye!